All right, everyone, welcome back. It's John and I with another episode of Global Card Collectors. John, you've just gotten back from the US and you're dealing with jet lag. What was your trip like, mate?
Uh, it was great. I saw my dad in Maine for a few days, and then went to my 25th college reunion in
Awesome.
Providence, Rhode Island. I went to Brown, and yeah, it was great seeing old friends, and I'm still got jet lag. I think I'm still maybe a little tired, we'll call it, from the weekend. And
Nice.
yeah, just like you kind of realize how many kind of friends you had in college or something, especially girls. Like, I don't have girlfriends now like I used to have in college. I think we all did, just like, and nothing about, male female stuff, just like we were buddies. We just hung out all the time. You know what I mean? I don't know,
Awesome.
it was a cool feeling.
Yeah, really cool. And I saw that while I guess you were in the Boston area somehow as well.
Yeah, I had to stop by Bill Russell statue for you.
Yeah,
My flight
yeah,
was
I
out of
saw that.
Boston on Sunday night, so I had just full day to kill. So I lived there for 2 years, so just did like a nostalgia tour of walking around and went to Ben Franklin and Samuel Adams and Paul Revere's graves and Bill Russell statues. So yeah,
Amazing.
cool. Yeah,
Amazing. That's cool, man. Hey,
yeah.
what have you been getting up to as a collector? I saw one of your latest Instagram posts today. So if you want to maybe share that or something else.
Yeah, that was a cool pickup. A Luka Modric 2022 National Treasures, Archives Inc. Out of 49. I've been kind of looking at that card. It's on card, and there really aren't that many on card Modric autos out there outside of these really high end sets. What's the 2022 one? I can't remember now, but those cards cost a lot of money. But this is like a nice, a tier down, and I like him in the Croatia, and I like the pose, so pretty psyched about that. I always wanted an on card, so that's kind of just for the PC.
Yeah,
Um,
great. He's been getting his flowers a lot lately, obviously because he's retiring.
yeah,
But you're seeing a lot of former teammates, current teammates, just talking about what an awesome teammate and what an amazing player he was, which is kind of fun to see.
right on. Glad you're catching that as well. Yeah, I shared a graphic today on Instagram. Jordan 13 seasons, six titles. In the NBA, Modric 13 seasons, six Champions League titles with Real Madrid. So,
That's
I
awesome.
mean, obviously not Jordan, but pretty sweet run.
Yeah, I mean he's top shelf. When you win a Ballon d'Or, you basically are in elite company.
Yeah, trying to think like a similar kind of MVP, but I think Shea's pretty deserving this year, but I don't know. Um, he's the only guy to win it outside of Messi and Ronaldo, like for like a 13-year run or something like that. So crazy.
Yeah, yeah, top shelf, top shelf.
Yeah. What
I
about
guess
yourself,
for
man?
mine, late.
Yeah.
Yeah, for mine, I've been doing a bit of selling, and it's going to come up later on in the episode when we're talking about just I'm not going to give away too many spoilers, but we are going to be having a wee mailbag, and selling has become a big part of what I'm like as a collector these days because I'm trying to sell the cards that I like to chase after cards that I really like. So I think from someone like IO Dave, and he must have had this episode maybe 6 months ago now, maybe even longer, but he talked about how he needed to let go of certain cards to get that Jackie Robinson grail card of his. And
Yeah.
I always think about that as well. And I'm like, I think it's an evolution as a collector where you go from just collecting bulk. And I think when I got back into collecting and around COVID time, I was still approaching it with, I guess, unfulfilled goals and dreams of myself as a youngster.
Mm.
But now that I've thought about what I actually want to do as a collector, it's gone from volume, and I've got voluminous amounts of cards, to I guess better quality or just those cards that are like that felt like they were out of reach. And so my idea is that if I can start to sell off some cards, trade up, or just move up to get less, but in many ways ones that for myself are just a little bit more desirable.
I love it, man. Yeah, I mean, I think you just need the time in the hobby to get where you
That's
are. I
right.
think kind of have to just go through it. That's how kind of I look at back at it for the last 4 years or something. And always, I know it's a cliche, but we're always evolving. Like, I mean, it really does change. And I bought something 2 months ago. I'm like, okay, I'll probably sell that now." Like, I mean, it's still not like able to keep it as linear as I'd like, I guess, but
Hmm.
definitely improving. Yeah, knowing what you like and what you really, really, really like.
All right. So I think I love that answer, by the way. And I think that we're never going to know exactly what we really, really like. And if our taste changes or if we've evolved and changed too, it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
I guess what I'm really excited about with this episode is that we've got a few questions from our friends. So I was listening to the crossover maybe 2 weeks ago, and their episodes are basically them answering questions from people who listen. And I was just like, why don't we try that? And I think the
Yeah,
reason why I
totally.
didn't I think the reason why I didn't want to do it initially was like, I don't know how many people listen to us. So,
Right.
but I'm really grateful for all of the questions that we have. I put the question up in New Zealand, and so I've got a couple of questions from Facebook from New Zealanders. So there'll be some New Zealand focused questions. But I think John, you'll be able to chip in with some thoughts of your own with those too. And then we've got some Instagram questions as well, which I think we'll save for later because there's just a couple of really great ones there too. Anyway, let's start off. So the first question from Facebook from New Zealand is from a person called Daniel Cheshire. And he wanted to ask the question about card grading from New Zealand. What are the pros? What are the cons? What are the costs? That sort of thing. So I started looking into this question and I thought about what it must be like as a person who grades cards from New Zealand. And I've actually done this as well. And I've done it and have you done this from abroad as well, taken cards and graded them abroad and sent them back to you abroad? I guess
No,
you've probably just gone, no, it's
no,
too
I mean,
tough, right?
God bless my mother. I send them back to her, and then when I see her, I get them.
Yeah, it's not easy to grade cards abroad. So I guess that's probably the biggest con is that it is tough to grade cards abroad. If you are a big time person into grading, maybe you could package up a whole bunch of cards yourself and send them over as a package on your own. What I did was I used a submission service. I thought that was the smartest, easiest way to do it. That way, I'm not having to deal with issues there. But the thing is, when you submit cards abroad, your wait time, you can add a minimum of 2 months on top of the initial wait time. And with PSA these days, it's a long time, man. It's a long, long time. So that is probably the biggest con of
Just
grading
because
cards from overseas.
the mailing adds another 2 months. That got
Yeah, yeah, because you'd be what 2 weeks, let's say a week, 2 weeks one way, just to basically get them
yeah,
to PSA,
yeah.
and then they have to send it back. So there's another
I see what you're saying.
roughly 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's probably jumping into a second person's question, but there's another New Zealander who asked the questions. His name is Neha Nahami, and he asked, "So what's the deal with the cracking down of cards at customs in New Zealand?" And he shared a screenshot with us, and it was of the submission service that he used. And I actually used the same guy, and he's great. And he did everything for mine. So he said that his cards are basically stuck at customs in New Zealand because they don't want to let them through. And I thought about what repercussions that could have with something like Trump's tariffs, which he's put a 90-day pause on, but that 90 days must be coming up pretty soon, right? Or it's probably passed and no one's no
He'll
one's noticed
extend
on
it or
Twitter.
something.
Yeah, of
But who
course.
knows? I mean,
But I think those sorts of questions and those sorts of issues are a thing for people to think about. And so if you are, I guess, again, another con of grading cards from New Zealand is that your cards could get stuck in customs for whatever reason, and you don't really have any control over it. So getting them there is a real pain in the ass, basically. But the pros are is that you have your cards slabbed. So might want to have them slabbed to display to protect them from any further damage in the future. But obviously, everybody is slabbing their cards to see what grade it gets and possibly to increase their resale value. What do you think some of the pros are of
yeah, I
grading cards
mean,
abroad?
slabbing your cards, you should just use a New Zealand company if you just want it, protected. So, I mean, I think you can easily grade your cards, and even I think the PSA Vault. I don't. We're doing like a commercial now for them, but ComC too. You can also do it through ComC. I mean, send it somewhere where then you can sell it afterwards. If that's,
Mhm.
I think grading in the States makes sense if you want to sell it. Um, like that's the main pro, um, I would say. Otherwise, you just really like PSA or some US grading company like SGC or something. Um, I guess they're more reputable. Um, those Beckett, those companies too, just market value in terms of that. So I guess those are, I just think selling in the States is the biggest pro.
Yeah, I think selling in the States, you're probably going to get more bang for your buck too. The
Yeah.
States definitely splash out a bit more money. At the same time, if you get your card sent back to New Zealand, for example, let's use that as our case study, you can sell it locally too. And a lot of people will want to buy a PSA 10. They do. I see them in all my Facebook groups, and those ones get snapped up straight away. So there's
Interesting.
some local resale value as well there. Basically, PSA is king around the world, man. If that's one thing that I've learned, it's king around the world, and it doesn't matter what card you are grading. I think everybody else is a distant second, third, fourth, but PSA is like the ultimate, and everybody else is just so far behind. It's not funny.
Yeah, for value, I think that's true. I actually just sent off an order of 4 things to SGC. Um,
Ah,
just like PC old Panini stickers and stuff like that.
very cool, very
Yeah,
cool.
because
So
I
the so
but
the second half of and I'm going to go back to Nehana again. His second question was about PCG grading. I guess I'll probably have to answer this one myself since it's the New Zealand grading company. I actually think they're really great. I like a lot of things about PCG. Let's start off with the negatives, though. That way we can go from negative to positive. I think that, particularly with things like sports, their resale value is not that high yet. Maybe if they become more reputable internationally, or if they build their name in the international card grading market, they can actually get a little bit better resale value. I know that, for example, there's a TCG set called Flesh and Blood. It's actually a New Zealand-based TCG game. It started in New Zealand and it's gone international. They're basically the home of this game, and those cards in particular probably have the highest resale value with this brand, with PCG. They
okay.
also sell Pokemon cards fairly well as well, so that everybody respects their grade. The thing is that they're not a big name company yet. The second con I'd say is that they're kind of expensive. So they're on the higher end of card prices. So you're looking probably at about 27, 28 US dollars base price,
Hmm.
which is not that bad, but you'd think that they might have taken something out of maybe like CGC's book or someone else and gone a little bit cheaper than PSA. But I think they do it because they want to have that elite slab style. So they have this, and if you've seen the video that where I went to the place where they were grading, they've got those metal labels, and basically you can laser etch the name of the card on and everything like that, and it's really cool and it looks amazing. So it's a good strong slab and it looks really nice. If you are grading from New Zealand, the return times are basically almost guaranteed. It'll basically be graded within two to 3 weeks.
Hmm.
They can basically almost 100% guarantee that, which is great. Or, for example, like Americans can do with PSA, if you want to go and drop it off, you can have same day pickup as well.
Mm.
So there's a lot of that too. Uh, Also great for New Zealanders is that the New Zealand cards, the rugby cards, the cricket cards, they can authenticate those. And now they're starting to authenticate New Zealand sports stars autographs as well. So they've done a little bit of research into those, which is very important for those sorts of things too. And in New Zealand, you almost don't have to fret about whether or not the person has actually signed the card
Right.
because you just walk up to the guy in the street and they'll sign
Right.
your cards. It's great. It's just a different world, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think the last pro about them is that they are building a name internationally as well. So they started out in New Zealand. They have a grading office in Australia. They have one in Malaysia. They have one in Germany. They have one in Japan, and they actually have one in the US as well. And that's owned by that guy Rudy from Alpha Investments, and he's a big name in the TCG community. And he saw their brand through flesh and blood and was like, I want to get in on the ground level here. I want to join a grading company that's reputable. And so he owns the American, or at least he's an investor in the American leg of that company. So they're making waves, man. And it's probably they're probably not near the top four yet. But who knows down the line with the fact that you can submit cards internationally and I guess bypass all of those issues we were talking about. So a German collector can send their cards to a grading company in Germany. A Southeast Asian collector can send their ones to Malaysia.
Hmm.
A An Australian collector can send theirs over to Australia, does a New Zealander. So they have other areas, or let's call them an alternative to the big dogs in the States if you want to go that way. And it's just that little bit easier. So
Are
those are
they
the positives of PCG.
are they like they're it sounds like they're clear number one in New Zealand.
Yeah, they're the only known grading company that I can think of.
Okay.
Hmm.
I mean, we kind of were waiting like just, for scraps from PSA or these companies to come to places like Turkey or,
Yeah.
it's kind of like China, actually. I mean, China just is going to all these countries that the West is ignoring. Like, I mean, they're going to be the dominant economic importer in Turkey in like 10 years. Like that's
Hmm.
happening. It kind of
Hmm.
already almost is, but that's just kind of negligence, right? So anyway, if they can kind of like colonize, I don't know, Philippines a little bit and Australia maybe next, and then you said you got to have offices in the US and where else was it?
So US, Germany, Southeast Asia, Australia, New Zealand, and there's one other that I'm forgetting, Japan.
Okay, I mean, I don't know if you can handle all that overhead and those offices, all those places. Like, yeah, I mean, I know China has great, I mean, companies that Chinese collectors really appreciate. But I don't know about those other markets very well.
Well, the Japanese market's going to be a tough one, man, because you have to have
Yeah,
very high
got to be high
standards.
quality. Yeah,
Yeah.
um, yeah. I mean, good for them. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it's just a card, like even if it's like a serial number card that or something that's like where the authenticity is what matters almost, more
Hmm.
than the grade. Why not use them? I mean, they're reputable. If you like how it looks, and
Yeah.
I don't know, it'll sell fine.
And what I liked about them when I went and visited their offices is that they're so transparent. I mean, the video that I took was horrible because I was using my phone and I needed to upgrade, but I didn't have the funds to do that.
Right.
But you can still see behind the scenes, and the guys are really open and they talked about their process from beginning to end. And it's a very clear process, and you can see how they were able to actually even get those grades. So if you watch how they were able to go from
Yeah.
basically the initial observation to all the way to putting it in the slab, it was I loved it, and I love the fact that they were open about it too.
I mean, I like Arena Club. They're cards that
Hmm.
like I have like maybe 5 cards in Arena Club slabs, maybe a few more even, and they look good. Like I trust their process. They show the grades, they show the subgrades online, and the heat spots. The heat map for where there are problems, that kind of stuff. So it's like seems good enough. I just think PSA is a bit of a scam, like overall, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean they're just printing money now, aren't they, really?
Yeah.
There was one other part of the question from Daniel, and he wanted to ask about our experiences with sending factory damage cards back. Now, I don't have any personal experiences with this myself. I've heard rumors of it here, there, and everywhere. Do you have anything to share with that, or should we just leave it for listeners to maybe add their thoughts in our YouTube channel's comment section, or just write it on this episode's Instagram post, I guess?
That would be best. I just no personal experience, heard good and bad and everything in between kind of or something about these scenarios. So
Yeah, so apologies to Daniel that we couldn't really come to a really clear answer on that, but there are rumors here, there, and everywhere. So if you have sent your cards back to Panini because they were factory damaged, how did it go? Maybe just describe your process would be awesome. I'd love to hear people what people have to say too. All right, let's move on to the questions from Instagram. And the first question I want to ask is from our friend and fellow host Justin, who basically asked, how have your collecting habits changed as a result of your interactions with guests on the show? You want to go first on this, John?
I am so influenced by our guests. It's
100%.
it's just ridiculous.
Me too.
I mean, I really wanted a Lomu rookie card, not, because after we talked about it, just between you and. And
Awesome.
have I shared that you got me a PSA? Yeah, I think
I
I.
think so, yeah.
Okay. I still love that. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, a Portuguese soccer collector, Huve Leao, like he got me into the sticker of Ronaldo. I mean, John at Eurofractor, like totally expanded my thinking about the 2000s.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm just totally influenced. So there's just a yes.
I completely agree. I'm so heavily influenced by many of our guests. The consolidation thing, obviously, Iowa Dave was one of your guests, but at the same time, I started listening to his show after he came on ours. And so he's a big influence for consolidation, as are a lot of the people who come on the show, because I find them so focused as collectors. Justin himself, for example, really focused and driven, and he knows what his niche is. And so he focuses on those kinds of cards. The other major influence on mine, and you've probably noticed from all the videos that I'm sharing, is the growth in my Pokemon card
Oh my
opening.
gosh. Just 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 go, man. Just
It's
go.
crazy. So I think that the move to Pokemon really had started as a chance for me to bond with Moana. And it's been a lot of fun, man. And so we watch these Pokemon videos. There's this massive Pokemon influencer. His name is Pokey Rev. Like every new video of his, she's putting it on in the living room so we can watch, and she's asking me questions at the dinner table about Pokemon cards, and we're talking about the card show that we're going to have early or midway through next month, and how she can sell cards and move on, and the cards in her PC, and it's just so much fun, dude. I'm having a great time with it. So I think my friend Kieran and and Ramen, the two Pokemon collectors that I've had on, have been really big influences there. But I think I've talked a lot about how great the Pokemon community is in New Zealand. I haven't found that quite yet, but I know there are some nice collectors here too in Turkey. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. It's been
Next,
it's been next question, I think. I mean, it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
thoughts
absolutely.
on that
So,
one.
so the next question is also, in fact, all of our Instagram questions are from former guests
Yeah.
on the show, and I'd love to have them on again. The next one's from Ben, and his Instagram handle is SWAT Team Cards. He basically wants to know what our hobby goals are for I guess for the rest of the year, or just in the next little while. What are your hobby goals, John? What goals
Uh
do you have?
I mean, kind of like you is to just sell more.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know, like last couple days, school payments have gotten real. So
yeah,
there's that. And then so yeah, I want to it's getting really hard though now. Kind of like you were saying earlier, trying to figure out what to sell. Um but continuing on with the international treasures cards, I just really enjoy those. Find myself kind of only looking at those. Like on Card Hobby, I just do a search every few days for those, and they pop up more often there. So I've gotten a few that are now being in the warehouse, kind of. So as much as I'm selling, I'm not. I'm buying at the same time, but yeah, keeping on that, and then just I recently picked up the Peja Stojakovic. I don't know if I told you about this one. 2002 finest gold refractor, um, which is out of 25, and I have the Bibby already. So
I remember the Bibby.
that card is just awesome. It's in the PSA vault, because you can keep it there for 90 days and not pay tax on it. So I won't get it for a while, but yeah, like that. And so I lack four other kings in that subset of those. So that's gonna take a couple years at
Great.
least to track those down.
So
It's not.
you got Pager, you got Bibby. Who
Yeah,
else do you need to get? C Web, I guess, has one.
Weber.
Alade?
Divac, Bobby Jackson,
Bobby Jackson
and
too. Cool.
uh, someone else I'm forgetting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty much their
yeah,
starting lineup for most of that. Oh, is it Doug Christie?
yeah, it is. Yeah,
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's the only other starter I can think of. I
yeah,
mean, I
yeah.
could probably name guys through the wider team, but whether or not they'd have a goal to 25 is the big question, I guess.
Yeah, like two of them have popped up on eBay in the last year. I got three of them have popped up. I got like one was at a fixed listing. I got that, but then uh, it was a Christie. I lost at auction, so there's gonna be competition.
Yeah, interesting. I guess I've got a couple of hobby goals,
Yeah.
like you, and I've written down in my notes here, sell, sell, sell. And then I've put an arrow saying to fund other card purchases. So it's literally that. So my big goal is to sell cards so that I can buy cards that I'm looking at and I'm looking for. It's something I just thought of now that I've been trying to drum up and think about and work with is, and I've talked to you about this off air as well, is to become a submission service for PSA in Turkey because they just don't have it. And obviously there's a language barrier with some of them too, but also just a logistics barrier for them. So
Hmm.
I've talked about a workaround and whether or not that can happen. So we'll start small, and I'm planning on hopefully launching it at our show early next month. So in basically 2 weeks' time, see if we can just have a soft launch of that. And if anybody's interested, I'll have like a little poster advertising it. And if they want to do it, they can do it with us, and we'll give it a crack and see how it goes.
Hmm.
In terms of cards that I'm looking at and players that I'm looking at getting, I've got 5 guys on my list that I'm probably going to be looking for when we go to Germany in early July.
Hmm.
There are 5 guys now, and you know 2 of them. Two of them are current Boston Celtics, and I
Yeah.
think I can easily be patient with those because I feel like in a year or 2 years, those cards prices are going to be really cheap. And one is Al Horford. And I've seen this one card and it's on ComC and it's like $45. And it's green and white and it's him in that shooting pose of his and it's got his auto underneath it. And I think it's called like it might be an impeccable one. It's like impeccable ink, I think is what it's called. It's a
Hmm.
great looking card. But I have seen some that are slightly nicer, but they're like $250. I'm like, oh, let's just wait a little bit longer until it gets cheaper.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think I can be patient with that. And Derek White, I haven't found any really nice ones in his Celtic uniform yet. I think he might have one from National Treasures, but I haven't really been able to find any that have been for sale recently. So we'll see. Maybe one of them is in Germany and we find it walking around the hundreds of tables that are there. But those are my 2 current Celtics that I don't have really good high-end cards of. And as we talked about weeks ago, some players you just need one good card of, and I'd love to have one really great Derek White and one really great Al Horford, and in fact, probably one really great Drew Holiday one in the Celtics uniform too, because he's one of my favorite players, and for him to have a couple of years on my favorite team is great. So he's probably another one on that list too.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, those three guys. I mean, it's funny. I've always hated the Celtics, you know.
I know.
But I like so many of their players now.
Yeah,
Yeah, all three of those guys I like. Jaylen Brown, I'm
Jalen
kind of
Brown's
fine
great.
with.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, and now that you guys are out, it's now you're not threatening, so it's just like,
and I think now we
yeah,
know that with Tatum's injury, it looks like that team is going to have to get broken up because you can't be paying that massive tax bill with a team that's not going to be a contender. And they're not going to be a contender without Tatum. So I have a feeling that someone like Drew Holiday might go in the summer. I have a feeling Horford might retire because he's just like, you know what? It'd be great to have him play one more year though, and just, first round of the playoffs and just see what they can do. I'd like that, man. That'd be fun. Just to watch a team that's like undermanned and be kind of rooting for an underdog would be fun.
yeah. I mean, kind of going back to those cards. I mean, they're not gonna pop up all that much because people might not think, I don't know. Those kinds of players are tough for maybe almost to find. I don't know. Have you found that or?
I just haven't found any like there's maybe just like 2 or 3 really nice ones that I've looked at
Yeah.
and found like images of on Google searches, for example, of Derek White. There's one nice one, well, which I really like. So, but that one hasn't come up for sale, and I'll just have to keep looking. There's a
Yeah,
Horford one there, which is good, but I feel like I can get better with him. I think he's got a few more because he's had a few more years at Boston, you know?
definitely. I
Mhm.
mean, he's been there a long time.
Long time now. Long time now.
Like,
So obviously he had that 2 years away when he went to Philly and then moved to OKC and then came back for like another 3 years. And he was there for like 4 or 5 years beforehand, I want to say.
yeah, I think I used to have a 2018 green prism of him, and
Nice.
it looked awesome in the
Yeah.
green. Um,
Yeah, nice. The
uh,
other the
yeah,
other two guys, and I think and I need good cards of theirs. One is your guy, and I think he's my guy too, man. I'm a big fan of his, and it's
yeah,
Giannis.
yeah, I
Like
agree.
he's so cool, dude. That guy's the man. Like he's
Giannis is everybody's, you know.
yeah. I mean, if you don't like Giannis, you don't like humanity. You know, he's such a really real human person. Even the interaction with Halliburton's dad, like it's just like good. I'm so glad that he was just like, of course he's angry. He just lost, and you're being a dick.
Yeah.
It was awesome to see like I don't like you in a head to head with an old man because he's angry because he wears his heart on his sleeve and you just
Totally.
love him, man. But the Giannis card that I'm looking for is I want a Giannis auto when he signed it with the old autograph. I
Okay.
love it, man. I think it looks awesome. I think it's a different type of script. And now that he's gone to the big flashy swirly scribble, I don't like that auto as much as the old one. I feel like he's almost using a felt tip pen to sign his name, and it has something rugged and naive about him almost. Like it's kind of pre-superstardom. And all of those cards, of course, are like rookie year or maybe second year, but I think they're all rookie autos.
Okay.
So that's the one I'm looking for. And there's one that I've seen online. It's from 2014, of course, and it's the Rising Tides, I guess, insert set. And that auto was around about 450 bucks. So that one's going to be on my radar. If I can sell enough cards, I would definitely buy that one. So, for example, I'm going to take my one of one Damian Lillard Nebula card to Germany. I'd very happily trade that one of one for one of those Giannis autos. Be perfect. That'd be perfect trade for me.
What year are the what year cards are the ones that you like the auto of?
2014. So the
Okay.
rookie year. Yeah, yeah. So it's rookie season one.
2013 is rookie, but um
Was it 13, 14?
13,
Because
yeah.
he's
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's what I was saying.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it's like one of these things. Simmons was talking about this. Like, we can't agree on this in sports. Like, do you win the championship the second year? Or like, yeah, it's 2013 is the set at least. The set's it for his rookie year, but
I really like that there's the Panini International set in that year as well. And they actually released a bunch of those in Turkey as well. So there were boxes available in Turkey
hmm
of that year. And so I really like that picture on that rookie card of his too. Because he's got the ball right behind his head and he's about to dunk it. You know, it's a great picture. And I have a really tattered up old copy of that card. I have that old rookie card that also has the tiny little Greek flag in front, and he's wearing that red uniform.
I like that one.
I
Yeah,
like that one too. It's
yeah,
good. It's very good. I picked that one up for 30 bucks in New Zealand. I thought it was a bargain. It was awesome.
amazing. I
Yeah.
think that's great.
Yeah. And so those are my two Giannis cards that I have. But to get that Rising Tides rookie order or just the Giannis rookie order where he does it in the old TB letters and then I think that signature's great. The
Cool.
the two other players, and I've gone on a long time that I want to talk about that I need other cards of are obviously Nikola Jokic. I need to improve my Jokic collection. I have one rookie card of his which I picked up at a really cheap price, and I think it was a CGC 10, and I picked that one up for like 40 bucks. It was great. But there are three of his that I'm looking at in terms of rookie cards, and I think if I can get them in a decent grade, I'd be very happy. But I'd be happy enough to pick them up raw too. Obviously, Joker's rookie season is, I guess, 2015, 16. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Just confirming. But I really like that clear vision card because I love the acetate look, and it's a profile picture of him kind of like shooting a floater, and I think that just shows off his artistry, creativity as it big. It's a great looking card, and
Hmm.
it's got like a full shot of his body from the side. You know which one, right? Like he's from the side, and he's shooting a floater with one hand up in the air. It's great.
I think I know it. I
It's a
think.
really nice looking card, man.
Yeah.
So there's that one, and that one's roughly around about $100, so not that bad. Now, obviously, his Prism card, I'd love to get a copy of that, and Raw that's around about $150, but you can drop or go up $50, uh,
Mhm.
up or down either way. And the third one of his that I really like is Revolution as well, because I like Revo. So
I like his Revolution for sure. Yeah.
it's those three that I'm just I just started fishing around, having a look at prices and seeing what they're about. And
That baby
again,
blue uniform on the Revolution.
yeah, yeah, it's a nice looking card too.
Yeah, he's shooting. Um,
And that's why I think I like those three cards. Like all three of them, he's shooting the ball,
yeah.
which is fun. Rather a little bit more artistry in the shot, that kind of thing. The last guy that I wanted to look at and just see if I can find a good card of his, whether it's an auto, and I don't think I'm going to be able to afford a rookie card of his, is our man Bill Russell. So I need to get a good card of his sooner or later. So if that comes up in Germany, amazing. But that's something that I can spend a little bit more time with, and it's like I guess, like you with those golds of your Kings players, that's one of those medium to long term goals of a player. But imagine getting one of his great cards would be awesome.
Yeah.
Would be a fun thing.
I'll keep an eye out for my 1961 Oscar. I'll keep these things in mind. Some of these are a little new to me, so and as your faithful hosts, if you are looking for a certain card or two, let us know. We'll keep our eyes out,
Yep.
It's probably we're probably like funny or something because I mean people do this at the National, but I mean I don't know. It's the biggest card show we're going to, so we're pretty excited about it. I'll just say,
Yeah, for sure,
yeah,
man.
like,
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
it's sold out. So you told me
It's sold.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's sold out. Like I think last week they announced that it sold out, and
Yeah,
that's why I had to double check that I had my ticket. I'm like, oh no, I can't find it. But
right.
I bought the ticket on my wife's credit card, not mine. The second half of Ben's question is, have you had any fun or meaningful pickups lately? Now you've talked about the Modric card already. Have there been any other pickups that you've done recently that you've been really happy with or really pleased with?
Um, there always are. I'll show this one if I can bring it up quickly, but it's the this
There he is.
I used
Oh
to collect
yeah,
this. I used to collect this set.
I know.
But this is the Black 101 2019 Mosaic International Men of Mastery, Tony Parker.
I didn't know you got the one of one.
Yeah, it was listed. I think it like started at 1150, um, and like a year ago. I'm just like, what? That's ridiculous. That
Hmm.
price, right? So I kind of like taken these off my search list because I kind of had abandoned completing the set. Um, but then kind of like stumbled upon it again in a search and it was at 350 on ComC. I'm like, oh, okay. Then I can like, it's gonna be cheaper already, and then I can probably offer. So like, yeah, I got it for I can't remember, I think like 240.
What?
Yeah. Which I thought was I don't know, it's a really meaningful 101 of Tony Parker. Like,
Yes.
um I have the Dirk 101 also of this set.
So now
Um
you're going for all the one of ones.
Yeah, I got two of the one-on-ones from that set. So I like that set. So I know it's mosaic, it's not, but I think they're cool. So I mean, I'm gonna take them to Germany.
I was going to
Um,
say with Germany and Dirk, whoo
yeah, I'm not gonna claim these are gonna be in my PC forever, but yeah, I'm enjoying
even
them.
Parker, you could probably swap that for a different card if you really felt like it. Yeah, bring it along as possible trade bait. Do it,
That's what I
man. That's
was that's
awesome.
what I was thinking. Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. Any other pickups?
I mean, a few, but yeah, those are the ones that's what stands out for me recently.
So I actually have a long list of pickups, but they are the most expensive in that list is $8.
Nice,
But
nice.
they're really meaningful cards because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I went down the rabbit hole of thinking about New Zealand sports people on the international stage and how whether or not they're big or small on the international stage, it doesn't matter. The first two are actually former New Zealand basketball players. Obviously, we know our greatest basketball player ever is the great Steve Adams. But there were two guys who paved the way before him beforehand. There was a point guard slash more like a shooting guard actually. His name was Kirk Penny, and he did really well in college. I think his college team made the Sweet 16, and he went through to try and get drafted in the NBA. Played some summer league games for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and he has a card of himself in a Timberwolves uniform, but he was never drafted in the NBA. He played in New Zealand for years and was probably our best local player that we've ever had. And I picked up his card for $8. I probably overpaid, but it was like, I really want his card. I remember playing basketball at the same time as him in New Zealand, and everyone knew who he was. And he was just leagues ahead of everybody else, except for one guy that I used to play with in middle school. And he was the next best player in the country. And yeah, Penny was amazing as a basketball player. But we all knew who he was. He went to a high school on the other side of the city, but his team basically won probably ever since he turned 15 or 16 years old. And their basketball program is the best in the country, kind of thing. The other New Zealander who I think in total maybe played 38 minutes in the NBA, so probably like 5 games, but
Yeah.
he was an NBA player,
Yeah.
played for the great San Antonio Spurs and other clubs too. But I think he also played for the Hornets. He was basically in the 15-man rotation, but barely basically didn't even get garbage time sometimes. That's how successful he was in the NBA. But dude, to make the NBA, you have to be a special player. So I
Totally.
picked up a college card of his, and his name is Sean Marks. He's now was the GM of the Brooklyn Nets. So he's probably more famous. He is more famous as the GM of the Brooklyn Nets than as a player. So I picked up his card for a grand total of $6. The third New Zealand sports person who I talked about with Justin on an earlier episode about boxing is the New Zealand boxer David Tua. And I picked up his card for a grand total of 87 cents. So that was great. And then the last two New Zealand pickups that I made were of New Zealand golfers. One is our greatest golfer, male or female ever, and her name is Lydia Ko. And earlier on this year, well, not this year, she just won Olympic gold to basically complete the list of accolades that she needed to qualify for the Golfing Hall of Fame.
And finished in style with a birdie. The woman in all black on the final green, enjoying the adulation. Co the winner on 10 under par by 2 strokes from Henselite.
So she's a Hall of Fame golf player, super well known in the golfing community. I picked up her Sports Illustrated for Kids card. Remember how they would have all of those cards and those perforated pages?
Oh yeah, that I was going to reference those actually later on. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Very good. Actually a good thought, and I didn't even think of that. I picked up her one for a grand total of $2.50.
Nice. Nice.
And then the last golfer is, I already have a an autograph card of our one of our two New Zealanders to win a major in golfs. His name is Michael Campbell. I've got an on card auto of his. In fact, it's on club auto. So
I've seen
upper,
that card.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so Upper Deck basically got faces of golf clubs and somehow put them on the cards and the players signed them. So I've got that card of his. And his name was Michael Campbell, New Zealand Maori guy, won in I think it was 1999 or 2000. It might have been 2000. And he was leading with 4 or 5 holes to play and he was getting chased down by Tiger. So Tiger Woods is coming on strong, like birdieing, hitting
Right.
monster shots, and this big crowd roars. And this guy held his nerve, man. He made a massive birdie putt on 17, like a long putt, and you just see him he's doing this big fist pump and that sort of thing. So I needed to pick up one of his cards. So I got one of those quite a while ago, actually. But I might even think about getting another one if there's a really pretty looking one of his. And the last New Zealand golfer that I got a card of is a guy named Ryan Fox. And I picked up an auto card of his for $4. Now he's done really well on the European tour and hasn't had much success in the States. It's his second year in the US. I bought the card for $4, and then a week later, he got his first PGA Tour win at Myrtle Beach.
His third. Good line.
Ryan Fox delivers! From off the green, he holds it for birdie.
It's never easy to win on the PGA Tour. What does this win do for you?
A lot. I mean, it's probably been a tough couple of seasons out here. Just get my card last year. Haven't had a great start this year so far, and I always felt like my game was good enough to compete with the best in the world, and I've got to show it a little bit today, and hopefully it kickstarts things for the rest of the year for me.
And as soon as it happened, I went back on ComSeed to see if I could pick up some more cards of his, and the price had tripled. So I went from $4 to the cheapest one is now $12. I was like, I made a great investment.
Nice.
A Ryan Fox autograph card, which
Nice.
I've since sent off to. I sent it off anyway to PSA to get graded. So those are my latest pickups. A whole bunch of Kiwi cards, and I think honestly, this was Ben's question, and obviously he collects Australian basketball players. But I think if we go back to Justin's question about people influencing us, I think from Ben's focus on Australian basketball legends, me picking up New Zealand sports card collectors is definitely got to be due to him. So thanks, Ben, for that. It's been a lot of fun collecting very cheap New Zealand sports cards, but I love them a lot, man. It's great.
I love it. It's cool, man. Yeah.
All right, we have our last question, man, and I did save this one for last because
What?
it's from our friend. Oh, there two? Ah, yes, yeah, of course. Your big question. This is the one
I don't even want to answer it on some level.
Come on, can you tell us the question? And
This
then
is from
tell us
Iowa
yours?
Dave.
I've been waiting for this.
Iowa
Yes.
Dave Sports Cards. John, if the Kings could get one player back, De'Aaron Fox or Tyrese Halliburton, who would you choose and why? Yes. I'm so sick of, I got so pissy with this text
Yes.
thread today about this. I'm so sick of talking about the Sabonis trade. We're recording after Halliburton's, just incredible statistical game, game 4 against the Knicks. And so of course all the podcasts have to talk about a trade that happened 3 years ago, and repeat all the things they said. And still, I don't even know if they're right. But to get to your question, Dave, I do appreciate it. It made me laugh. I think I'm jet lag. I'm like, I don't know, in a pissy mood about some things recently or something, but it clearly, how can I not say Halliburton at this moment?
Yeah.
But I think I would have said that regardless of the playoffs. I just like how he moves the ball. Clearly, you can build around him. He makes others better. So he's really a great player that way. I don't think Fox does that. I don't think he makes people better as much. And he's, Halliburton, I love that people think he's overrated, because I think that's true. But he's proven it, and I would take Halliburton back, but then we wouldn't have Sabonis. So that guy's been literally like my favorite King, I think individually ever to have him on the Kings.
Wow.
Those great teams, I just like loved all of them. So I don't know. Before we had when Boogie Cousins got traded away, after that we could not rebound the ball. Like, believe me, like, and you can't win games if you can't rebound. So like Sabonis is like literally gotten us, we're a good rebounding team now. So if I could have Hallie and Sabonis together, that'd be ideal. But Fox is kind of dead to me. I don't know. He came in. He kept us from drafting Luca. He apparently that's the reporting. He got out. Sabonis was the reason we got somewhat good. And he got out when it was right for him to get out. What did he? I don't know. He just said all the right things, and he's like a nothing to me or something. So I'm kind of done with him.
Yeah, it feels like he's doing what's best for him and his brand at the moment. Like going to play with Wemby is great for him. For him, it's great.
Yeah.
And you can understand, like, but at the same time, you think about that trade, that probably doesn't happen if maybe they could have just somehow traded Fox away for Sabonis instead. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Simmons was saying today that the Knicks wanted him, but I mean, they probably would have given crap for him.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck with Tyrese and no Sabonis, no nothing else. So I don't know what you're getting from the Knicks back then. They didn't really have much to trade, if I recall correctly. I'm just so glad we didn't trade one of them for Ben Simmons. That was definitely
That was a
like talked
possibility,
about.
huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who knows? I mean, yeah. I mean, he's a fun player to watch. I mean, if
He's
he's
a
on your
fun player
team,
to watch.
yeah,
He's
I
fun
got
to
him.
watch. He definitely gets people talking to. Like he's entertaining, man. Like the big
Yeah,
choke sign after game two when he hit that ridiculous shot. But I love that he's all about the moment too. Like if there's a big moment in the game, he wants the ball in his hands. And you don't get many guys who want the ball in their hands and who it feels like, at least these playoffs, he's delivering every time, almost on cue. It's crazy, man.
it's crazy. I agree. No, I
Yeah.
mean, gotta hand it to him.
Yeah, he's definitely had a massive impact these playoffs, and it's been a lot of fun to watch. I mean, now that my team's out and my team West is out as well with the Nuggets, I seem to be pulling for the Pacers because I just can't stand the Knicks.
I think I'm. Yeah, I kind of want the Pacers to beat the Thunder. I mean, that's what it's going to look like at this point. So
I think they're the only team that can now, to be
yeah,
honest. And I mean that's a long shot.
I agree. I think
But they have a shot because they push the ball and Halliburton doesn't turn the ball over.
yeah, it's true. I mean, they can run all these other teams off the floor. I mean, it's interesting paradigms with the Thunder and Pacers. I mean, these young teams, we were talking
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, I
And
mean,
at least they play fun styles of basketball too. Like the Pacers is fun, up tempo,
it's true.
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely entertaining to watch. And guys take ridiculous shots and often make them. It's like cool, it's fun to watch. And then someone like Siakam is their kind of centering factor, and he's able to get his buckets, man. He's fun. He's a good player to have on your team as well.
So last question
Yeah, let's do it.
is from Chris Hoge. Um, he sent us, a photo of the Larry Bird Magic Johnson 1980 Topps card. I imagine most people have seen it. If not, they're both on it alongside Julius Irving in the middle. Uh, and he asked us, "How many cards is this? You wanna take it away? How many cards is this?"
So I think there's a little bit more detail to that as well. Is that
Mhm.
those are the cards that basically can be split up into minis. So they have these perforated edges, a little bit like that Lydia Ko card from the Sports Illustrated series that I think you're going to use for your example. So these cards have these perforated edges that you can basically rip off and then have single cards of single players. So you could have out of those three a Julius Irving mini or a Magic Johnson mini or a Larry Bird mini. And I actually have seen only the Larry Bird ones being sold online. There's obviously they're going to sell the other ones, but someone at some point in time has basically taken this card apart and sold it as a single, which I find very interesting. And obviously it works because you're not going to be buying that whole A4 page of Sports Illustrated cards generally. You want the single card of the Tiger Woods or the Victor Wembanyama or the Lydia Ko with those Sports Illustrated for Kids cards. But I looked at that same set, the 1980, 1981 top set, and they actually have a different Magic Johnson card in that set and a different Larry Bird card. And I think it's like the team leaders. So it's not the actual card of the player, it's like the This is the team leader in rebounding. This is the team leader in assists. And so there's a Bird card in that same set, and he's surrounded by Fred Brown, is him in the middle, and there's Ron Brewer on his right, I guess. I would not want that card personally as much as I would want the threesome of Bird, Dr. J, and Magic.
Definitely not.
I assume Ron Brewer is Ronnie Brewer's dad. I guess
Sounds
it makes
likely.
sense. Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense, which was a nice surprise to me. There's also a Magic Johnson card in that set as well, and he's probably the assist leader for the Lakers. I can't remember the details of it, but he's surrounded by there's Mo Cheeks, there's Magic, and then there's Ron Boone on that card. So out of the three options of cards that you can have, a single Bird rookie, a single Magic rookie, or you can have Bird, Dr. J, and Magic together in a single iteration of a card. I'm taking that 1980-81 Topps Bird Dr. J Magic card, and I'm not splitting it up.
I mean, you definitely shouldn't split it up. I mean, I think maybe everyone knows that. Like in terms of value, if you have one, don't cut tear the perforated edges between the three.
Yeah. So I guess my point is that like if you obviously I think technically you can split them up and have single minis,
Yep.
but I think that I guess my answer is it is a single card because you want them as that one card versus a Bird with Fred Brown and Ron Brewer or a Magic Johnson with Mo Cheeks and Ron Boone. And I'll go to 2003, 2004 Topps where they had this rookie matrix and it was in LeBron's rookie year. Now, there are some amazing setups in those.
The Bosch, Wade, LeBron.
There's the Heatles one. Yeah, there's the
Yeah.
Heatles one. It's Wade, LeBron, and Bosch, as you say. There's also Bosch, Carmelo, and LeBron. So two really cool different cards, and you can pick the players that you want in those, or you can go the other end and you can get Kirk Heinrich, good player, but not at the level of these others. LeBron and Darko, if you want, Darko Milicic, the number 2 draft pick of that year. Or you can get LeBron, Darko again, and Chris Kaman. So those are some other options that you can get with that LeBron mini. So I guess in a roundabout way, what I want to say is it is for mine, it's one card because you want that collection of the three guys together. That's my answer, at least. What do you have to say, buddy?
I mean, it's so clearly it's three cards, like to me.
Really?
I mean, you would break up all the others, right? But not that one. This one, literally, if you look at the back, the Bird and Magic have kind of like a normal card back with some stats, maybe a little text. The Dr. J has 76ers all-time scoring leaders in the back. Like, there's no unifying theme to this card, except they just
Interesting.
threw a bunch of good players on it, right? Obviously for resale, you keep it together, but it was designed as three cards. There's no unifying theme. That's where I fall.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
There's also that. You go, mate.
Well, I was just gonna say soccer, like there are a lot of these like double stickers of people, and like the Pele rookie 1958, he's on a card with that's not a sticker, that's a card with Garrincha, who's also like maybe even better than Pele, some say, kind of, but he was a very, very good Brazilian in the 1950s. Pele just had a long career, right? Got famous and stuff. So
or the Mbappe foot rookie, for example.
Well, yeah, that's another one. Those have plummeted in price, but yeah, I mean, do you really want someone on there that you doesn't belong? All those cards you listed from 2003, 4. Yeah, like you don't want the LeBron with the other one on it. You want the Wade Bosch one, right?
But it's interesting because those ones don't. I mean, I don't see many of those LeBron singles in. Because would you, even if you had Chris Kaman and Darko in that card, would you break that card up?
No, you don't break it. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't own it. I would sell it. But yeah, I mean, I think they were intended to be broken up.
Sure.
That's
getting the mini set.
argument.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like Sports Illustrated for kids cards. So, yeah.
Yeah, but you have those cards that they're obviously doing it for resale value, like the one that I told you about, which I opened from a pack and I was thrilled. And the mini card, it was I think it was 1994 Upper Deck, and I got Jordan, Penny Hardaway, and Sean Campbell on the same card. And back at the time, there was the chase card and the mini cards to get. Now it's worth maybe $1.50 or something. But it was awesome. Like to
Right.
get those three guys, I'm like, wow, I got three amazing players on the
I
same
mean, the other
card.
thing that I feel like context with this card is that yeah, like that card you're talking about right there isn't very valuable because there are plenty of cards around. This at this time there were no cards, right? It
Yeah.
was kind of like the only set, as far as I understand, until the star cards in '84 and before that in the '70s. I don't know how late they were printing. I'm not very knowledgeable about '70s, '80s, like early '80s, but
Yeah, there's some around and about other ones, but that set in particular was, I guess most people call that card the Bird and Magic rookie card.
there are no cards from like '82 or '83, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. There's like that I think there is another top set. I can't remember exactly when, but
Hmm.
yeah, that it might be 83 actually. And then it goes into the Fleer ones, yeah.
So otherwise, I mean, it's a really cheap card and a really cheap set, like in terms of quality, right? Like the
Hmm.
design is whatever. I guess it's fine, but um, but because it has those guys on it, it's cool. But it's all we have. It's kind of my point, which makes it kind of a different case or something.
Especially when, and I think maybe Chris asked us this question because he wanted us to think about the fact that they're together as well. Like those two guys are together. And even with Dr. J, they're together as well. Like Dr. J was a pioneer for basketball and basically lugged the NBA himself for, however many years before these two youngsters came on the scene. So there's something iconic about that as well. Whereas the LeBron one is it's an interesting comparison because you have, him with his Heat buddies, which is an interesting thought as
It
well.
is funny. Yeah.
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 Or him with the banana boat guys with Bosch and Carmelo. It's kind of fun.
All right, man. Well, we answered all the questions and really appreciate them from the
100%.
audience.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Forced me to think, and I like that.
I
And
just like having to think about something different with Hosier's questions, with make me think about what I'm actually doing about it as a collector. Because sometimes you just kind of go with the flow, and then you all of a sudden like, what have I actually been doing? And
right.
so to answer those kinds of questions has been good too. And even like the small details ones about like the pros and cons of grading abroad and how tricky it is for international collectors and how we end up getting around it ourselves too, I guess is the other part of the question. But it's been great.
Yeah, man. Very
All right,
good.
but all right, but cool.
All
We
right.
we survived another week and we're keeping that streak alive. Let's
Our
see if we can
streak's
keep it alive
alive.
another week.
Let's go.
All right, but
Take care, everybody.
see ya.